Hey, it's Karen here with another 10-minute Pilates, and today for you I'm going to be focusing on wall Pilates. You may have seen lots of this on social media, maybe even on the television. Pilates has always been about innovation. Yes, there are the core movements, but it's all about ways of using equipment and things that you may have around the home to just enhance that workout or change it up a gear or give it a little bit of a change of focus. And that's all I'm going to do today. Now, I'm not using a wall, full disclosure. What I've got is my pouffe, a pouffe, I don't know what you might call this, it's like a footstool, but this is nice and heavy, it's going to stay in place. I don't need to put my feet up on the wall, but what it's going to do is help me just change up and adapt some of the Pilates exercises. If you're going to do this at home, I'd suggest you find something similar, a sturdy stool against a wall, or a really hard, firm chair that you can put against the wall, because what you don't want for it to do is to start pushing away from you. So I'm going to start with some bridging. This is really where having your feet elevated can come into its own. So we're taking our standard bridge, so our shoulder bridge, where we would roll up and come back down to the floor, and you can sometimes do that static, we can lift the legs, we can change the feel and focus of this. I would suggest you warm up with a few on the floor just to really get that back moving, because once we take those feet up a level, it's going to really make those movements through the back much stronger. So when you're ready and you feel ready to get started, we're going to shuffle forwards and pop the feet on the footstool. To get that same feeling of having the feet up against the wall, I can have my heels here, just gently pressing against. I'm going to bring my hands down by my sides and just press and lift up. A few things you might notice here. Firstly, that neck. Just slide that head out and away. Really important you don't have anything underneath your head if you're doing these bridges. I'm going to get the backs of my arms pressing down into the floor for a bit more support. I still want to feel those hips coming up to the wall behind me, and just watch you're not gripping with your feet. So relax your feet, trust your bottom, lift those hips, draw your thighs in towards each other, and then we're going to roll back down towards the mat. And to get started, you can already feel that, right? We're going to just lift up, and then lower halfway down. Breathe out, we lift up and lower halfway down. Now what you'll notice is how those glutes have to work that little bit harder. If you're someone who struggles a little bit with pelvic floor, you'll find as you lift up, you're inverting. So you've got a much more vertical position when you're coming up to your bridge. We're going to press and lift. Let's just do two more. Breathe in, come down, exhale, lift up, and then we're going to roll back down to the floor. Keep that control. Oof. And then just let your feet come up and in towards you to really lengthen through the hamstrings, get that movement through the lower back. It's not about stretching your hamstrings, it's just about encouraging that circulation through the muscles. Let's come back to that position. Press your hands down by your sides. One thing I do want to say, if you start cramping up, stop. Yeah, so we're always trying to, if you're cramping up, you've just taken it a little beyond what your body wants to do. So just do enough rather than feeling that you have to push on with bad form or with cramping. Breathe in. On your out breath, lift up. Hold that bridge. Now, just because you're here with me for just 10 minutes, I want to show you a way of progressing your bridge. You could let one leg lift up. Now, what happens when you do that? Can you feel, because of that change of angle, how lovely that feels on your hamstring? Lower that foot back down, breathe in. On your out breath, we're going to press and lift. It's almost like gravity takes the weight of your legs here. Breathe in. Exhale, lift. You're going to bring your toe down towards the floor. Breathe in, lower. Exhale, lift. Imagine how good this would feel after a bike ride, or if those hips are feeling a little tight. And just to finish, I want you to think about sending your tail to your knees, lifting your hips up and rolling back down to the floor, and just finish with a little stretch now through your back. So that is our bridge. Now, one of my favorite ways to teach rolling back or the roll up, particularly with newcomers or people who've got really stiff lower backs, is to use a wall or a sofa or something to lean against. In class, I might come and roll myself up behind you so you can lean against me. So if we take your roll back, we're just coming down towards the mat. Some people find this lower back is so stiff that they come back with this stiff spine, and that makes it very difficult for you to roll down and back up to the mat. What happens when we get a little bit of support behind us? So I'm going to just shuffle back. It might take you a little bit of wiggling around to get the position right. That feels good for starters. So my shoulders, my upper back are positioned on that sofa or on that pouffe, so I've got that space. And now, because I can lean against that, I can really feel that I can let my tail come under. So particularly if perhaps you're not strong enough just yet to allow your pelvis to move, with that extra bit of support behind you, you can. And we're going to just reach those arms up high and then let your heels come out and pull your toes in towards you. You get all the feels of the roll up with just a little bit more support. And that's going to help you get the mobility through your spine to really master the roll up. So I'm going to come a bit further away. I'm going to roll back again. I've still got that behind me, but now still opening up the hips. Bring your hands up, breathe in. Exhale, come down. Bring your arms up. Exhale, come down. Let's come up a little bit more. Let's shuffle a little further forwards. And again, I'm going to roll back. So as I said, just give yourself some wiggling around time to make sure the position is right for you. Breathe in, come up, open those hips up. Can you send your hips up to the ceiling even more and then come back up? Shuffle further forwards. What happens now? Lovely little trick. If you bring your thumbs onto your pelvis, spin your pelvis under so your thumbs come towards your chin. Notice how that pelvis opens. We've got that sofa behind us. Breathe in, come up. Exhale, come down. Breathe in, come up. Exhale, come down. Breathe in, come up. Exhale, come down and roll all the way up to seated. And I would suggest if you're someone that finds the roll up a little tricky, and if you love to do your Pilates at home, try that against your sofa, then do the roll up and see the difference that makes. So we would warm up hands and knees, toes come underneath you. On an out breath, let your knees lift and hover. Come back down. Now, here's a little trick for you. Lift your opposite hand to knee up and away from the mat. Bring this hand onto your lower back. Gently press your back into your hand. Feel how the tummy muscles connect. Lower. Other side, lift and hover. Up, press, lower down. We'll do that a few times just to really feel your trunk is warmed up. Remember, I'm doing this because my abdominal muscles will respond when my back moves. If I bring my hand to my back, press my back to my hand, then the tummy muscles respond. It's a really lovely way of getting the connection through your abdominals. Then from here, we're going to bring your feet onto the wall, onto the sofa. I'd suggest with this one, you do have your feet on a sofa rather than pressing your heels against the wall. That's just, I'm not even sure how that works. But as you come to this position, where are your sitting bones? Can you spin them down to your heels? Feel the difference that makes. And then release. So all I'm doing, watch my tail, watch my pelvis. I spin my tail down to my heels. I'm going to lift my tummy up and I'm going to release. One more time. Breathe out. Release. Back down to the mat. Now you're going to see the veins popping on my forehead because it's not only hard, but it's really warm today. And we're going to come back down, up to the other side. If you're not watching me live, we're having a heat wave in the UK. They do happen in September. Weird. Anyway, not complaining about it, but that's why I'm quite red and sweaty. So we're going to again from here. Now, where's your alignment? Feel the shoulders come away from your ears now. I want you to think about, are my armpits, am I working under here? This serratus anterior, the serape, the cape that comes around your trunk. We want those working as well in your plank. So let your feet come up again, out and out. Now, notice I'm not here, yeah? And I'm not there. I am somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna feel the tail comes down to my heels. Pull those hips up to the ribs and release. Exhale, tail to heels and release. Exhale, tail to heels release, and come back down onto your knees. Shall we try one more? What haven't we done? We haven't done sides. Now this is tricky. We're gonna come, everyone loves a side bend. We're gonna come onto your forearm because it's quite a lot of pressure on your wrist to do this on your hand. Any issues with your shoulders, please just do these down on the floor. So this is what we're doing. We're gonna come into our side bridge and we lower back down. And again, we're gonna lift. Notice how I'm warming up with the floor versions. And that's just how the Pilates 34 moves work. You kind of warm through the 34 moves into the more advanced ones at the end. So taking those same principles. Now I'm gonna take my feet up onto my pouffe on my wall. I've got, watch this, I've got my top leg in front of my bottom leg. It's gonna give me a bit more surface area to grip onto. And then I am gonna press and lift and hold up to the side. So push through all of your forearm, not just your elbow. Send your tail to your heels. Lift the waist. Hold. 3, 2, 1. And come back down to the floor. Let's just try that on the other side. So I'm going to come on over. I will turn my back to you in just a second. We're going to lift up. Breathe in. Lift the hips. Come back down. Lift the hips. Come back down. Let's try this on the other side. So again, on my forearm, front foot forwards, back foot behind. Press into all of the forearm. Press and lift and hold. Reach the arm up. Tail to sit bones. Draw those ribs in. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and back down. And sit back and stretch out. Finally, if you want a lovely stretch for your ribs, for your upper back, we can use this pouffe. We can come on up onto the knees. We can do this 2 ways. First, onto your forearms and allow your ribs to come down into the mat, and then round your back. We lengthen, we round the back. And then I said 2 ways because what we can also do is come around the other way. Let your hands come forwards, knees wide, and just ease down and stretch out. That was a serious workout today. Well done if you made it through with me. Thanks for joining me. As ever, if you've got any questions, please do leave them in the comments. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Please subscribe to my channel. I would love it if you do. And then that way I can make sure all of my latest workouts come straight to the top of your YouTube feed.